Welcome to Extraordinary League, an actual play RPG podcast brought to you by Smash Fiction. I'm Dan Mulkerin, your game master. Playing Stitch is Kit Mulkerin.
For now, League is my family. I found it by accident. It's pretty broken, but still good. Yeah, still good.
Playing Dante Sparta is Liz Logan.
God pisses off demons. God destroys demons. God creates man. Man destroys God. Man brings back demons. Dante eats Lunchables.
A couple chapters too late for that particular reference.
Playing Nico Minoru is Miles Schneiderman.
Try not to die. Wait, no, that was for me. You all try to die. Go try that.
Playing Mordin Solus is Colin Mulkerin.
I don't have a song. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I was working on the Tango Mordin, but I couldn't quite get
Your
it.
first time being introduced last and everything, and you just
I know. He was like, "Hey, I'm gonna start
man.
introducing last. Get songs." I don't know. Maybe I'll.
So stay tuned next month, listeners, for the Tango Mordin, which will be 100% completed and set to Colin's own unique soundtrack. That is a Smash Fiction promise. Previously, your adventures in Westeros reached a climactic end as you fought and killed Dracula, claimed the sword Frostmourne, and finally acquired the green gemstone that serves as 1/5 of the weapon which can remove the threat of Phyrexia from the multiverse. Your battle wasn't without consequence, however, as Stitch was gravely injured during the last battle, and you were barely able to return to Castle Greyskull in time to get him to the infirmary. Since then, you've been able to spend a couple of weeks resting and recovering on Eternia. The League spellcasters have taken the green gemstone, and they've been attempting to use it and the tome you found in Jurassic Park to determine how it works, what it does, and how it can be used against Phyrexia. What have each of the rest of you been up to in the weeks since you escaped Westeros?
Also, Dante has Frostmourne.
Yes, well, yes.
Lest we fail to mention that.
Faux show, Dante has Frostmourne.
So many evil Lunchables.
How's Stitch been doing?
Mordin, I imagine that you've been one of the main doctors in charge of Stitch's recovery.
The main doctor.
There you go. The only non-hologram doctor.
Is WebMD a doctor? No.
I'd like to think that that's how you refer to the EMH, as WebMD.
Yes.
I'm just thinking of an EMH that's programmed to be WebMD, but a person.
Yeah, just like anything,
terrifying.
Like any symptom you tell him, he automatically freaks out and tells you you're about to die. So yeah, Mordin, as one of the doctors in charge of Stitch's recovery, you know that even after all the medical and magical healing that the League has been able to muster, Stitch has suffered intense spinal trauma. You're thinking he may have trouble walking ever again. But he is conscious and looking heartbreakingly tiny on the infirmary bed as he is surrounded by his loving dinosaur companions, the raptor and the very tiny T-Rex. The latter of whom emits a protective squeaky growl at anyone who attempts to approach the bedside.
Speaking of Stitch, I want to say that I've been insisting to the League doctors that I perform surgery on Stitch with Frostmourne.
Oh, jeez. Well, you're definitely getting some squeaky roars in your direction.
No, I don't. I'm not letting Dante anywhere near this whole wing of the castle.
Okay, so I guess that's Mordin and Dante covered, and I guess Stitch has just been in bed for the most part.
Yeah, am I conscious now?
Yeah, you're conscious.
Oh, okay. And I can't walk yet?
Yeah, you can't really feel your extremities.
Am I kind of quadriplegic, or is it just my legs, or
no?
what's the situation?
Well, you have limited control over your arms and almost no control over your legs.
Okay. Can I drag myself around with my top two arms?
Kind of. The EMH gets very upset when you try to leave your bed because he says that there's still some more work that needs to be done. But he's a hologram, so who's he gonna
Stitch
stop?
totally responds when people are upset with
Yes,
him.
of course.
Yeah, that works.
And try to stop him from doing things.
He's just he's snuck out of his room a lot, just wall crawling with his two hands.
Yeah, sure.
No, he's still gonna try. He's gonna try to do shenanigans with his old pal Dante, but I think he just messes up shenanigans.
Okay.
He keeps getting in the way. He keeps dropping.
What's one shenanigan that you guys have tried to get up to in the last couple of weeks?
So, it's a castle, right? And so fucking stupid. It's not like there's any soda fountains or like soda cans, right? Everyone's got to drink soda out of bottles, yeah? Okay. Well, I stole all the bottle openers.
I mean, clearly, soda cans would be ridiculous in a castle, but soda bottles.
That's how people in the Middle Ages would drink soda, was out of bottles.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so I stole all the bottle openers, and the only way people can get their sweet soda is by using Frostmort.
Okay.
And I'm the one who has to open it, and so I've been opening all these bottles, and I'm just like breaking the necks so they have to drink out of broken glass. It's really great.
I mean, it sounds like you're just
prank.
creating a lot of work for yourself, dude.
I enjoy it. And then I've been stealing all the ice out of the refrigerators.
With a single touch of the
Freezers.
blade, the sodas become nice and icy cold, though, I'd imagine.
That's very true, yeah. So, Mordin, you are at some point leaving the infirmary after Stitch has been tracked down and brought back to his bed after sneaking out to apparently steal all the soda in Castle Greyskull.
Right. I'm gonna say that I had like an anesthetic that I gave him that was supposed to prevent his like muscles from moving and just paralyze him for a few hours, but his like weird alien biology keeps adapting to it and like processing it in his system really fast, so I keep upping the dose and it keeps not working.
Also, all the caffeine from the soda is not helping you.
Yeah. As you're leaving the infirmary and heading back towards your lab, you see that Ranma, in their female form, approaches you from down the hallway, and she waves at you and says, "Hey, Doc."
Oh, hello, Ranma.
So I just wanted to let you know, my team and I came across another piece of weirdness in our latest little excursion. It was some kind of alien creature, so we have it locked up in your lab in case you wanted to take a look at it.
I try not to show how excited I am about the chance to perhaps perform a dissection on a new alien creature.
Of course.
And I say, I will check that out. Thank you.
She smiles and walks off.
Mordin sprints off there as slowly as he can to not draw too much attention.
Yes. When you do get to your lab, you see that there's a large, secure-looking metal crate sitting at one of the tables.
Okay, about how big?
Probably, like, maybe 2 feet on a side.
Okay.
There's a small observation window that can be open to see inside, sort of like, you know how on those medieval prison doors, there's like the little sliding window that you can open and shut?
Sure, yeah. I'll shut the door to the room and lock it, and then I'll slide open the little window.
Okay. You slide it open, and you see that the crate is empty.
Okay.
Looking down, you see that there's a trace of strange black residue on the edge of the table, and it appears to be going down to the floor.
All right, I'm going to like get down on it at a knee. Have we established how good the scanning stuff on my Omni tool is as to whether or not it can like identify this kind of stuff?
I'm sure you can do something along those lines, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna science at it.
All right.
With my Omni tool and see if I can figure out what it is.
You bring up the science app on your Omni tool.
Right.
And it identifies it as like a biological residue, presumably from the passage of some sort of creature. And you see that there's a little bit of a trail leading out the door that you just closed.
All right, I'm gonna pop the door open and start following back the trail of slime and see where it's going.
You begin to follow it down the hall, and you realize it's heading for the infirmary.
Nope, not gonna happen. Going after that.
Stitch, at this point, you're in your infirmary bed with Lace and the small T-Rex sort of sleeping on the floor next to you. And
I like to think they're all piled on the bed.
Oh, sure.
There's more than enough space.
That works.
It's just so cute seeing a raptor on a bed.
As you're looking around, though, there's suddenly a black wave that comes bubbling and surging over the edge of the bed and totally envelops you. Mordin, you rush into the infirmary, and you see Stitch is scampering excitedly on the walls and ceiling. He is covered completely in a skin-tight black costume.
Oh, son of a bitch.
The black is only broken by 2 white eye spots and a mouth which is somehow larger and more frightening than Stitch's normal mouth, with a long tongue snaking out.
We can walk again!
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Stitch's like long, now very pointed tongue like comes lolling out of his mouth. Just extra saliva more than usual.
Experiencing any pain?
No.
Any issues with your movement?
He kind of like thinks about it and extends one of his little arms, and suddenly just like this black webbing shoots maybe like to the wall next to the door where Mordin's standing in.
right there, and then he pulls himself over to that wall. Shoop. No.
Yeah, Stitch, you've regained your full mobility now.
Yeah, so Stitch kind of is like, with all 6 of his limbs out, now like taking turns kind of admiring this like blackness all over him.
Well, that's good news. How about, just to be on the safe side, you lie down on that table there, and you let me run a few tests.
No, he goes running out the room.
I'm gonna try to neural shock him.
Yeah, okay, so Stitch make an endurance check.
All right. It's a yellow.
Okay, so yeah, the neural shock
totally.
just sort of like zaps Stitch for a second, but he scampers off to presumably perform evil mischief
Actually,
elsewhere in the castle.
no, that's
Nope.
how it gonna be.
Okay.
Stitch turns around, and then he's like, just shoots a bunch of black webbing and pins Mordin to the wall. And then he's like, stupid head, and then runs away.
Alright, great.
Mordin makes a note that for everything, it seems not just the sedatives, but also the neuroshock, anything related to Stitch, he needs to up the dosages of everything obscenely.
Dan,
Yes.
just a reminder, Eddie Brock doesn't, like, have to have Venom, like, out on him all the time, right?
Correct. He
It
can
can, like, slither away into some hidden orifice or something.
Yeah.
It's your butthole, kid.
Yeah,
It's the butthole.
probably.
That's why Dante keeps stabbing people there. It's like in case they have a symbiote.
My god, Dante's, like, expert tapeworm removal. I never
Yeah.
thought about it.
Nico, what have you been up to?
I've been checking in on Stitch, like, every once in a while, usually when I think nobody can see me. But aside from that, I've just been completely avoiding everyone and just kind of really enjoying some solitude in whatever room in this castle I happen to call home. You know, like, reading and just... Westeros was tough.
Yes, it was.
So, she's relaxing and taking a break from the crazy people.
Now, Nico is, being from the Marvel Universe, is no stranger to the retcon. Just before Flemeth turned around and left all of you at the end of the last session, she passed to Nico a book saying, if you wish to continue down the path of being a mage, you'll need more than that staff in that arm. This may be a place to start. Use caution with it, however. And then she turned into a dragon and flew away.
Yeah, so about that reading.
Yes. Yeah, so you wanna describe the book that you've been looking through?
Are we all just collecting evil shit? Is that what's happening?
I mean, kind of, yeah. We got a symbiote, we got Frostmourne, and we have the Tome of Eternal Darkness.
So yeah, so this book is appears to be, I don't know, what this skin? I'm gonna go with cow skin. Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Cow.
That'll help you sleep at night.
And these decorations are bone-like, and this is an interesting rune.
I just want to say, for the listener, we get a resource in this game called Karma that we can either put into the Karma pool, which we can use to get bonuses to our rolls, or we can put it in the Advancement pool, which we can use to buy upgrades for our characters and equipment, stuff like that. And so we've just made a few new purchases. That's like how Mordin got his portal gun and stuff like that. Stitch got a new thing, and Nico got a new thing.
Nico's gonna try and find a way to open it. I don't think it's that hard. There's a clasp, right?
No, you can open it just
Yeah.
fine. You get these weird, like, flashes of other people from what looks like different worlds all sort of finding the book, and almost all of them end up meeting with horrific ends at the hands and tendrils of eldritch beings.
Right up her alley.
Yeah.
I mean, book-wise.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, for sure.
So Nico, you spend the next couple of weeks in your room poring over this tome and the strange elder secrets contained within its pages. Also, in this adventure, playing Sterling Archer is also Miles Schneiderman.
Hey, what's up? Hi, everyone. Got a long time.
It has been a long time. You missed out on the last mission, so you've been training with Roland for some time now, like at least several weeks, if not a couple of months. Roland has been able to convince some of the tech experts in the league to use some spare parts to put together some practice drones to assist you in your training as a gunslinger. So they're all, basically, as the scene opens, the last one takes a bullet to the head and drops sparking and motionless to the ground in the one of the open yards within the halls of Castle Greyskull. And Roland just sort of looks on and gives the slightest of nods to Archer, which Archer you've discovered is essentially the largest conceivable compliment that Roland is effectively capable of giving.
Booyakasha! You see that one? Roland, you see me hit that one? Yeah, you saw it. I know you saw it. It's okay, big guy.
He watches you, and then he pushes himself away from the wall which he'd been leaning against. He says, "How do you feel, Sterling?"
I feel great. I mean, I've had half a bottle of scotch, but, normally I would have been down at least 2 bottles by now. So, yeah, and I hit the thing with the bullet, and, yeah.
He nods and he says, "Do you shoot with your hand, Archer?"
No, I do not shoot with my hand. Wait, hold on. I have something for this. he who shoots with his hand has forgotten the face of my father. I shoot with my mind, Roland. That's what I do.
He nods and says, "You do shoot with your mind. That was not the case when we started this weeks ago."
No. I mainly shot with my awesomeness back then. But now it's totally my mind. Even though I still, again, the father thing is a little bit weird for me. But
he says, "Perhaps consider shooting with your mind in other circumstances, not just in actual gunplay."
What, like with archery?
He sighs slightly and decides to move on. "Archer, in my time there were many trials a would-be gunslinger would undertake to prove himself worthy. We've neither the time nor the means to make a proper ceremony of it, but to my thinking the best way to prove yourself would be to go rejoin your group and test out your skills against more than these robotic targets."
Oh, those guys back? Awesome.
They are, and from what Buffy and Doc Brown tell me, they are going to be gathering shortly for their next mission briefing.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, let's go see them. Oh, they're going to love the stuff that I've learned. It's going to be great.
As you turn and begin to walk away, you hear him call out from behind you, and he says, "Gunslinger."
Yes.
He holds out his gun belts, the large pistols with the sandalwood grips hanging low in their holsters. "I've a trade to make if you've a mind for it."
Really?
"I'd welcome the chance to see what changes your world saw fit to make to a pistol."
Oh, so I can use yours.
Well, mayhap you can learn the feel of a true gunslinger's weapon in your hands.
I gotta say, Roland, I've had my eye on those puppies for a long time now. They're really big. They're seriously big guns, dude.
They are the weapons of a gunslinger. If you feel you are ready for them, you may take them for a time.
Oh, I'm ready. Oh, I am Sterling Archer, Roland. I will take them, yes, and by all means take these. It's what we call a 9mm. It's probably not as good.
I had the opportunity of using it back in Jurassic Park. It'll be interesting to see what other things I can make it do. Take care of those weapons, Archer. They are more than just tools.
Oh, I definitely will. Look at them. They look great on me, don't they? No, I will clean these as though they were my favorite prostitute after the dirtiest sex.
Is Archer still dressed like Pretty Archer?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Although,
Except he now has a big Burt Reynolds mustache.
I was going to say he's taken to wearing cowboy hats.
Okay, cool.
I like it. I like it a lot. All right, so eventually you all are called up to meet with Doc Brown and Buffy to discuss the next mission.
Okay, Stitch is not wearing, like, the Venom symbiote openly.
Okay.
Hey, Mordin, that was my favorite alien doctor. Still got the one horn, I see.
Oh, Stitch also sees Archer and his, like, ears tucked back the last time.
Yeah.
He saw Archer. It was not a great situation they were in.
Hi, little blue thing.
Hi, doo-doo head.
Thank you. See that rumors of your not walkingness were exaggerated.
At this point, Mordin's going to say, "Archer, how's the liver?"
Still going strong despite my best efforts, buddy. You want some of the scotch? It's good.
Will that keep it out of your system?
I mean, I've got more. I mean, it hasn't been all training with Roland here while you guys have been gone. Although that has been amazing. I mean, doing gunslinger training with him, it's been like it's like learning poetry from Robert Browning himself. Like it's amazing. But I've also been brewing more whiskey, so that's a thing. Dante, I've got bigger guns. You've got a bigger sword. It's awesome. Yeah. Just keep being you, buddy.
I walk away.
So you all arrive in the meeting room with the large oval table and the high-backed, uncomfortable stone chairs, although Doc Brown has set up a small hologram projector in the center of the table. Buffy is standing nearby and nods at all of you when you walk in, Although you can see that sitting with them is a young-looking woman with kind of pale skin, pale hair, wearing a weird outfit that kind of looks like a combination between like a black robe and like a school uniform almost. Buffy says, thanks for coming. How are all of you feeling? I know that the last mission was a long one and particularly trying.
It was. It really was.
Well, you didn't go on it.
I don't know how I'll recover
Archer.
from it. Sorry.
But I appreciate the feedback.
I was drunk.
Our patient seems to be back up on his feet, so that's what's most important.
She looks at Stitch and smiles and says, so I see. How are you feeling, Stitch?
Great.
Buffy looks over at Dante very pointedly, and you notice that her gaze sort of like drifts over to Frostmourne's hilt sticking above Dante's shoulder, and then back to Dante, and she says, Dante, how are you feeling?
Moody.
Yeah, Buffy does not look reassured by your answer, Dante.
Stitch is gonna actually go over to this new person he has not met yet. Hi. Says the two, they smile and a wave.
Making her Extraordinary League debut, playing Luna Lovegood, is Megan Bob.
Hi. Luna's gonna reach into her pocket. She's got some candy in there that she snuck from the kitchen. She's just gonna leave it on the table to see if Stitch wants it.
Oh,
Not forcing it on him.
Oh, Stitch's ears perk up in just delight, and he just scarfs it down. Cousin!
Oh, you don't mind eating the wrappers either.
And then he like thinks for a second, and then he like spits out just the wrappers.
Luna's just gonna kind of see if anybody's watching her, and then just kind of gently push the soggy wrappers off the table and then sort of under the table.
Bob, it's very possible that the listeners to this episode will not have heard the intro session where we introduced Luna.
Fine.
Can you give like a brief like physical description, particularly like mentioning how old you're playing her as?
Luna is about 25 now. She's gone up and she's probably a little bit tanned and probably picked up a little bit of muscle just because she's been out looking for animals.
Oh, so I don't have to. I totally can hit on her. Okay, good to know.
I mean, certainly you're welcome to try.
I mean, it would have been creepy before.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a little
That
creepy.
imagines that it won't be creepy now, but okay.
Depends on the approach.
Yes, all archers.
Yes. Buffy says, we think we have a new lead for you all to follow. Have you all had a chance to meet Luna Lovegood yet?
Stitch sort of tilts his head at her and says, "Hi, I am Stitch."
I mean, I think that if there had been anybody been here named Lovegood, I would have known about it before now. Considering it seems like a kind of a challenge to my greatest feat.
That's nice.
Buffy says, Nico's going to be staying back at the castle for the time being, so Luna will be going with you to provide magical support. You did quite well in retrieving the green gem, and we think that we've found another one. And she turns and nods to Doc Brown.
What color is this one? Like maroon? Maybe a deep burgundy? Like
She
wine?
says, we're not sure, Archer. That's kind of part of the whole process here.
Oh.
Doc
I
Brown,
really like maroon.
Doc Brown leans forward to activate the hologram projector in the center of the table. Instantly, the air above the table fills with a vast array of hundreds and hundreds of glowing blue spheres. Each one is about the size of a large marble, spaced a couple of inches apart from each other in this giant three-dimensional lattice. Do my Doc Brown impression again.
Oh, come on. It's gotta be better than trying to do Skeletor.
Oh, yeah, at least I won't throw out my voice like I did with Skeletor. This is a rough representational map of the multiverse as we know it. You'll have to forgive the crudeness of this model. I didn't have time to scale it properly, but it should illustrate the point at hand.
Oh, Dan, you get
I'm
like
glad
50
someone
karma
caught
for
the
that.
reference. Now, normally, the individual worlds represented here by blue orbs are separate, as you can see. However, the plane of Phyrexia actively moves through the multiverse as it seeks out other worlds to assimilate. As he speaks, a glowing red orb comes into view and begins to move through the projection. As you watch, it meets a blue-colored orb and lingers for a moment, absorbing it into itself before moving on toward another orb. Much as a physical body moving through space will gravitationally disrupt other objects in the same space, so too does the movement of Phyrexia disrupt the positions of other worlds relative to each other. And you can see that in the projection what he's talking about. Basically, where the red orb passes near to other worlds, they begin to drift out of their normal positions, causing the projection to be filled with a silent chaos of small blue comets. This means that there are worlds drifting in 11-dimensional space, so of course, there's bound to be a collision at some point. Fortunately, universes colliding don't behave the same way that conventional matter does. The universes don't break, they just end up occupying the same space. Sometimes, if the universes just brush past each other, it can result in people and objects from one universe ending up in the other. We've seen this a bit in our travels, and these crossovers are only going to become more common as Phyrexia continues its path and more worlds come unmoored from their positions in the multiverse. Sometimes, however, the collision between two worlds can be a bit more direct and permanent. And at this point, he manipulates the controls on the hologram projector. The blue image above quickly shifts as the orbs swell from marble-sized to basketball-sized before disappearing as the hologram zooms in on one area of the multiverse. It comes to a stop, displaying two of the blue universe orbs so close together that they're touching. In fact, they're not only touching, they've partially overlapped together at their point of contact. So instead of a single blue orb, it looks like a three-dimensional figure 8. This is one example. Here, the two universes have overlapped at this point, meaning you could begin walking in one universe, find an area where parts from the two universes coexist, and end up exiting into the second universe. These Gestalt worlds aren't necessarily common, but they're certainly cropping up more and more.
Oh, you know, as Kyle wills it, it'll happen.
Which brings us to the world you'll be heading to next. And again, he manipulates the projector. The merged double world disappears as the display speeds to another part of the multiverse. What is displayed doesn't really make sense initially. It looks like a bunch of blue grapes hanging in the air. And then it clicks that you're looking at dozens of worlds which have all come together into one patchwork mass. This Gestalt world is unlike any other I've encountered so far, and it's almost miraculously stable considering how many worlds comprise it. And at this point, Buffy takes up the briefing and says, "We've had one of our agents posted in this world for some time now to monitor the situation, and she recently reported back that she's positively identified one of the 5 gems here. She'll be waiting for you by the extraction point, so hopefully she can brief you when you arrive. Are there any questions that you have before we get going?"
So, how many
Is she
worlds?
hot?
Back off, Archer.
Whoa, buddy.
Buffy sort of looks at Archer, and basically everyone in Castle Greyskull by this point has adopted this sort of brief consideration of what Archer says, and then just sort of slides right along. Mordin, you had a question?
Yeah, so how many worlds comprise this Gestalt world that we're visiting right now?
Doc Brown glances down at some of his calculations and says, "Nearest as we can estimate, somewhere around 24. However, this Gestalt universe is so massive that it invariably attracts other universes, and even if they don't end up becoming a part of it, oftentimes they will brush by it and deposit creatures and objects from their universe into the Gestalt universe. So there are many more universes represented in this one world than would initially be thought."
That must be complete chaos.
Indeed, that would be my assumption as well, but from the sounds of it, it's stable somehow. I'm not entirely sure how that would occur.
Yeah, Mordin looks around the room a little bit. The only other rational materialist used to be Archer, but apparently he's now fallen into some sort of wacky newfangled religion, and he doesn't have high hopes about Luna Lovegood. So,
I mean, if cowboy is a religion, then yes. But hey, don't talk shit about my new god of the bullet, dude, because it's gonna save your ass soon.
Luna's gonna raise her hand. How long are we gonna be gone?
Buffy looks over at you and says, well, that really depends on how long it takes for you to retrieve this gem. When this group here went into the world of Westeros to look for the green one, it took them several months before they were able to get back. But, our agent says she knows where it is, so it just sort of depends on how long it takes for you to get a hold of it.
Yeah, that was more than Geralt knew when we showed up in Westeros.
Well, Archer wasn't there.
Wait, no. I'm sorry, I still wasn't there for that. I for some reason thought I was with you guys. I don't know. I was becoming a badass shooting.
I'm gonna pack a suitcase then.
Stitch is just really bored, so he's like stacking chairs on top of each other, making a sweet chair fort.
Fortunately, Buffy is easily able to deconstruct the chair fort once you leave, so
That's what you think.
It's all
The
fine.
symbiote might have everything all over it now.
It's true.
Mordin's getting ready to leave the room. He passes by Doc and says, only 11 dimensions of space, huh?
Oh boy, here we go.
This is why you have no friends, Mordin.
Hey, you, Rapid Hulk Hogan, I think we should probably, we're gonna be working together again. Should probably, let bygones be bygones. I don't even remember what happened. I was drunk, but sorry for what I did.
Stitch narrows his little black eyes and kind of gives him that like side eye, and then all right, and then he straightens out and holds out one of his little paws
There you
for,
go. All
for
right.
a handshake.
That's what I like to say. I shake it.
Oh, and I'm taking my broom with me as well.
Cool.
I'm probably gonna wear my field gear, so something canvas and buff repel.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's
see.
right. In the years since Hogwarts, we've decided that Luna has gone out into the field and been exploring the world looking for magical creatures. So, yeah, you are well kitted out for field work right now.
You've got your Nargle repellent and stuff.
I have a little bit. I definitely have my goggles so I can see rack spurts.
Yes,
I'm not
absolutely.
worried about it, but I want to have them in case.
absolutely. Better safe than sorry.
As Mordin's packing up the lab, he's restocks his Metagel and everything like that. He's made some modifications to his Omni tool since the last time, so his incinerate's a little bit better. And he also grabs one last thing before he goes, which is a piece of tech that he found in Doc Brown's lab that he's repaired and is flipped on, and he believes that he understands what it does, but how exactly it's able to accomplish that, he's not certain. It's a small handheld box with a blue button on top, and that's all there is to it.
Oh my god, I want it gone already.
And that's what we call Chekhov's box.
Chekhov's box, which he takes along with him. It is another thing that I purchased from the advancement list.
So Stitch is gonna have to, he decides he needs to find a babysitter, so he pitter-patters over to Nico's room. Nico!
What?
Come in! Nico!
Nico tears herself away from the book, opens the door a crack. When
Stitch
did you
pushes
get out
the door
of bed?
open the rest of the way.
For fuck.
Why are the walls bleeding?
That's not. Don't worry about it. When did you get out of bed?
He pulls out from behind his back the tiny little T-Rex. Can you babysit?
You're kidding me, right?
And he goes walking into Nico's room and puts the T-Rex on Nico's pillow
Oh my god.
and fluffs up the blankets around it. Okay, listen to Auntie Nico.
Oh my god, kill me.
Okay, bye. And he
As-
slams the door closed behind himself.
As you're leaving, Stitch, you can hear the T-Rex makes the little squeaky roar, and waves its little stubby arms after you.
Shut up!
Great, in good hands. Dante, was there anything in particular you wanted to do before we left?
No, I'm just brooding in a corner.
All right, no, don't let me stop you.
Suddenly he's wearing all black and he's got heavy eyeliner.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is my transformative stage. I'm in an emo cocoon right now.
You all meet up in the arrivals room. Luna is surrounded by luggage and has a broom tucked under her arm. And once you're all ready, Mordin produces the DDC, hits in the new coordinates, and the bubble expands around all of you.
Dante, you see my new guns? Dante, look at these guns. Look how big they are. Look, I mean, they're huge. They're like they just I.
Your guns are small, okay? They're small. My sword chops your guns.
I mean,
It chops them all. It chops them right up.
It's like a slap chop.
Damn, you must have really had a bad breakup with that Nico chick.
So, a world seems to explode into being around you as you arrive. You're clearly in a city, a modern city, unlike the medieval city of King's Landing you arrived in the last time you left Castle Greyskull. You're standing in an alleyway between two concrete buildings, lit by the flickering red light of a neon sign advertising some sort of drink brand. Looking out, you can see sleek cars speeding by on Black City streets, eclectically dressed pedestrians hurrying on sidewalks, and buildings of stone, metal, and glass reaching up into the air, all lit by yellow streetlights, rainbow neon, and the glow of ads on large flat televisions scattered on the sides and tops of buildings. As you continue to look up, you feel a sudden and intense sense of vertigo. What looks like a few miles away, protruding perpendicular to the ground you're standing on, is another cityscape. The buildings are reaching out at an almost perfect 90-degree angle towards you. The buildings are different, too. You're standing in a city that looks to most of you like a 21st century major American city like New York or Chicago, but the architecture of the other city in the sky, while still modern-looking, features a much more distinctly Japanese-looking aesthetic. Looking more closely, you can see that there are roads crisscrossing between the bases of those buildings, with the yellow and red lights of traffic crawling along like luminescent ants.
Mordin says, I'm not the only one seeing this, right?
Stitch shakes his head. Lace also shakes her head.
Taking a step out of the alleyway affords you a better, wider angle. And looking around, you can see multiple cities scattered throughout the landscape and the sky above, each with a different aesthetic, each one sitting at different angles to each other. One even looks to be almost entirely upside down. But apparently it obeys its own relative gravity, as the cars and pedestrians on its street seem to indicate. Moreover, you can see that there are numerous small flying vehicles traveling from one city to another. As you watch, they reorient themselves as they approach the new city, as though they have to adjust to a completely new direction of gravity.
Okay, yeah, that's new.
Standing here in this place is like standing in the middle of a kaleidoscope, or like a collage of different cities that were put together at these weird, bizarre angles.
Yeah, that's definitely new to me.
Luna finds it weird but not super upsetting, so she's going to take a moment to shrink down her luggage and put it in her pocket.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, Mordin says, in order for this to be possible, there'd have to be only 11 dimensions of space. Oh, wait.
As you're all staring around, you hear a voice from the alleyway that you appeared in. An alleyway that you were positive was empty a moment ago. The voice says, you like what you see? Now, this voice, by the way, is speaking in a Mexican accent, which I will not attempt to replicate.
That's a good choice, yeah.
The woman standing in the alleyway, leaning casually against the wall, is on the short side and clearly of Mexican descent. She's wearing striking indigo-colored lipstick and eyeshadow. Her dark hair has been grown long in places, shaved close on the sides, and dyed electric purple at the ends. Her wardrobe consists of a stylish black jacket worn over a neon blue and pink bodysuit. And she grins at your obvious gobsmackedness at the strange city all around you, and she says, welcome to Nexus City. You'll get used to it. I mean, at least you better, because if that gem is as important as the bosses seem to think it is, you gotta get your asses in gear.
And
I don't
who are
like
you?
blue. I like red and black.
I think her hair looks nice.
Dan, this isn't Sombra, is it?
Oh, it's definitely...
Oh, she has such a great accent, too.
Yeah, I know, and I'm not gonna do it.
Nope, yeah, don't do it.
My name's Sombra. I'm going to be your contact here in Nexus City. Hopefully your flight was pleasant enough.
It wasn't a flight. It was a teleportation gateway.
Yes, I know. I was being sarcastic.
Yeah.
She turns and begins walking and says, well, we better hurry then. You've arrived a little later than I was thinking you would, so not a ton of time, but I think we should still be able to do what we need to do. And she begins walking off.
So as I walk along with her, I say, are there any threats we should be aware of? Are the natives of this plane friendly? Are there Phyrexians or anything else hostile present here?
She turns and glances back at you and says, good questions. No Phyrexians yet. That's why I'm here, though. We figured that the Phyrexians would look on this place as some kind of, buffet or something. But, nope, so far they haven't shown up. And as you can guess, and she sort of gestures around, and it then hits you that despite the fact that there's an obvious alien and another smaller obvious alien riding a dinosaur walking down the street, no one really seems to be giving you guys more than maybe a double take. But, no one's really freaking out. They just sort of are like, oh, that's interesting, and just sort of, walking on their way. And she says, comes from getting used to having a whole bunch of universes all crammed together in one spot, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And we didn't need it to be pointed out, but thank you.
She looks at Archer and says, "You're just upset because you didn't realize I was being sarcastic."
No, I mean, I knew that you were,
Also,
obviously. Also, yes.
Around this point, Sombra walks you all down a set of stairs in the sidewalk that leads down to a crowded subway platform lit by harsh white light. Thankfully, a sleek but well-used looking train pulls into the station a moment later. You all push your way to the inside of the subway train, although you have to end up standing with your hands grabbing metal poles as you begin to make your way beneath the city, swaying slightly as the subway goes. Now that you're all kind of standing close together in the subway, Sombra leans in and says, So, a few weeks ago, I noticed that the whole city seemed to be gearing up for some kind of big event happening. And it turns out it's this thing called the Nexus Tournament. It's this massive, team-based combat competition, drawing contestants from all across the worlds in this little universe. And weirdly enough, it's proven to be a huge draw for people. Apparently people really like seeing characters from different universes beat the crap out of each other. I don't understand it, but she shrugs.
Yeah. Mordin says, people don't have a better way to spend their time.
That's what I'm saying, but hey,
What do you-
apparently it brings in
sounds
plenty of
awesome.
money.
Sounds so awesome.
What do they win?
Ah, now that's the question you should be asking. And at this point, the train comes to a halt, and the doors open up, and
I'm just
Sombra...
gonna fall over a little bit.
What kind of train is it?
It's a subway.
Just a regular subway?
Yeah, it
Regular
looks.
New York
I mean,
subway?
it looks nice, and like maybe a few years more advanced than you're used to, but like well within the realm of possibility.
Are we crammed? So we were in a station waiting for the train to arrive?
No, you were there, and then you got on the train, and that last little bit of conversation was on the train.
Were we all crammed in with a bunch of other people?
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I just need to take a second to imagine Lace politely holding on to one
Yeah,
of those,
absolutely.
those little rings.
Yeah,
My giant sword on my back.
yeah, and again, like people give you guys space, but like they're not really freaking out or like really treating you any differently than everyone else on the train. And looking around, you kind of get the same sense as like being in Castle Greyskull, because you can see that there are some weird looking creatures in this city and walking around on this train. You guys are not the most weird looking creatures here. So you guys have exited the subway, and Sombra begins to make her way up the stairs back out onto the street. And she says, so, the prize for winning. Well, so, I wasn't too interested in participating in this tournament, but I was a little intrigued by it, so I started reading up on it, watching the commercials, and that's when I saw the grand prize being offered. By this point, you've reached the top of the subway steps, and you've come out into a smaller, somewhat less busy city street. Sombra gestures toward the side of a nearby building, and stuck to the side of the building is a bright yellow and red poster advertising the Nexus Tournament. And there's silhouettes of two groups of fighters frozen in mid-leap at each other over an explosive background. Below them, rendered in painstaking detail, is the prize that Sombra mentioned. It's a huge golden trophy cup decorated gaudily with numerous precious jewels around the sides and edges. And in the dead center of the trophy, impossible to miss, is a single perfectly round ruby. If it were green, it would be unmistakably identical to the Stone of Grace that you tracked down in Westeros.
You really couldn't just say it. You had to come and show us the poster. That was dramatic. Overly so, I would say.
She says, hey, I'm nothing if not overly dramatic. She sort of like punches you in the shoulder.
Kind of like this girl, gotta be honest.
And she says, what do you think? Looks like one of those rocks you're after, no?
Yeah, absolutely. It looks exactly like the one we brought back from Westeros.
Yes, that all of you brought back from Westeros. So with that, Sombra leads you all a short ways down the sidewalk and into an elegant-looking building, stepping beneath an awning that extends out onto the sidewalk. A sharply dressed doorman opens the door for her and touches the brim of his hat as she passes by. And he says, Miss Marconi? And he nods politely at all of you as you pass by. And he says, is there anything I can have sent up for you? Sombra replies, no thanks, Brendan, but you're a dear for offering. And,
Wait, are you related to Guglielmo Marconi?
She turns and glances back at you.
Because we could have a serious conversation about radio technology.
And she says, maybe? Like, clearly not knowing who that is.
Jesus Christ, read a book.
Miles, your opportunity to dredge up, like, worthless trivia is very Archerian. I have to praise you for that.
Thank you. I think actually, if I'm not mistaken, he actually has mentioned Marconi on the show, but I also know who Marconi is. So.
There you go.
Yeah.
So Sombra leads you all against an elegant marble lobby toward an elevator on the far end. She produces a small card key from one of her pouches and places it up against a glowing red panel next to the elevator door. The panel turns green, and the elevator doors open noiselessly. As you all enter the elevator with Sombra and the doors close, you notice that there are no buttons to push to indicate which floor you want to go to, but nevertheless you immediately feel the elevator move upward, and a few seconds later the doors open noiselessly again. You all step out of the elevator and into a jaw-droppingly luxurious penthouse apartment.
Stitch is like, it's too beautiful.
Oh, this is nice. I like this.
Stitch yaws Lace to run in there, and then he jumps out and starts tearing up the couch cushions.
Luna's gonna go flop down on one of the other couches.
Nice. The two-story interior is very well appointed. Just stepping out of the elevator, you can see an entertainment space with a billiards table, multiple couches, several huge flat-screen TVs, a huge spotless kitchen with granite countertops and modern-looking appliances, a library whose walls are lined with fully stocked two-story bookshelves. There's a full bar, there's a long fireplace beneath a stone mantel, two separate dining tables, one long enough to seat about 24 people, and what looks like no fewer than 6 bedrooms. And then almost every room features floor-to-ceiling windows looking out over the glittering, bizarre geometry of Nexus City. And I invite all of you to freely invent ridiculous luxuries that are in this apartment.
Well, obviously a bidet.
Of course. There are more bidets than toilets.
I want to ask Archer which bedroom this is.
I mean, probably the biggest one, I would think.
And Sombra says, nope.
Pretty sure it's marked off for me. I think, judging by the amenities being given here, I would think they took the consideration to give the mighty gunslinger his own room.
Oh, great. It's this one,
Luna
right?
is quietly already moving to find a bedroom.
Oh, so Archer, it's this one, right? Okay. Dante walks in the room, shuts the door. All you hear is crashing and smashing and Dante quietly walks out, closes the door. Oh yeah, it's a nice room.
Right. So did you guys, like, not get him laid for that whole time, or what? Yeah. I go into a different room. Did I say I was going to my room? I meant I was going to the full bar.
There you go. Well, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Yeah, well, I mean,
tomato.
Yep.
more likely than not, I'll be sleeping next to it most
There you go.
evenings. But I'm very eager to try the variety of non-earth alcohols that are available here.
Oh yeah, there's all sorts of stuff that you're very eager to destroy your immune system with.
Yeah.
More notes he notes that there's more than 20 rooms here, yet no lab. Very, very disconcerting. Where will he perform his autopsies?
Yes.
I lean on the pool table, and then suddenly I hit some sort of magic switch, and it flips over, and it's suddenly a full-service laboratory.
Wow.
What?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Okay.
What the fuck? I just want to play pool! Why is nothing right in this godforsaken world?
Can Luna cast a spell?
Yeah, absolutely. What do you want to cast?
Oh, I just wanted to cast a cheering charm on Dante.
Oh.
Aw.
It just seems like it would be helpful.
All right.
At least until he's calmed down a little bit.
Yeah. Dante, you are feeling a little less stressed out. And a little more cheered.
Oh, I love my sword. Oh, my sword is love. My sword is life. I'm going to go spend time with my sword. Oh.
Oh no.
I'm not sure that's better than what I
Yeah.
hoped for, but okay. Congratulations on your lab.
All right. Who wants,
Sword.
who's up for a game of darts?
Stitch
Anyone?
pokes his head out of the couch, which he has like burrowed into. That appears to be his room now, and he's like prairie dogging out of various holes in it.
Is there a computer here with like their equivalent of internet?
Of course there is. There are multiple
All right.
ones.
So I'm going to say that Mordin has basically just buried his face in a computer, and he's just trying to learn as much about Nexus City as he can. He's kind of ignoring all of the revelry that's occurring around him.
Oh, I'm gonna say, Lace really likes hanging out in the kitchen for some reason.
Okay.
Oh, wow, because there's food there, and fond memories of eating children. you would
Absolutely. Yeah. She keeps hitting her head on the reflection in the refrigerator.
Aw, adorable dumb animal.
And she brings you over every ladle that's in the kitchen.
Good. Battle.
Oh my god! Oh my god, this is amazing. Stitch in his spare
You have
time.
like a bandolier.
Yes!
ladle.
Yes! Dad, we think is one.
Yep. So once you all are settled in, Sombra says, yeah, it's pretty good. I've been squatting in a little studio apartment, but once I reported the gem back to HQ, I figured that we'd need room enough for all of you, and, you know, if you're going to town, might as well go in style. The guy who owns this actually has a bunch just like this, and he barely even comes to this side of the Nexus. Also, he really needs to upgrade his cybersecurity. Maybe I'll do that for him before I leave. But till then, as far as the guards downstairs know, he's very generously allowing his daughter and her 5 closest friends to crash here while the tournament's going on.
And their Velociraptor.
And their Velociraptor. And she says, speaking of cybersecurity, and she raises up her right gloved hand. She starts twitching her fingertips as though she were typing at an invisible keyboard, and multiple blue holographic displays pop up in front of her. Long pink holographic tendrils extend from her fingertips and begin to interface with the displays. If you're planning on trying to win this tournament, then you'll need to enter in first, and that means going through a qualifying match. Normally it takes a couple of months of paperwork and interviews to even get approved for a qualifying match, but alternatively, you could just go into their system and rip the qualifications and credentials off of one group and put them onto another one. So I kind of prefer the second one, personally. She shuffles through multiple screens showing pictures and profiles of different groups of fighters.
That keyboard looks like it gives you cancer.
I mean, so does, Mordin's Omni tool if you're going by those.
Mordin watches as she's gesturing and says, motion sensing servos in the fingers. I can upgrade that for direct neural input.
She says, I tried it once, wasn't really to my liking. I just have micro expression sensors in the glove so that my eye movements can direct where the cursor goes. But, thanks for the offer.
All right, well, I can bring you a clay slate and a chisel if you would like to take some notes.
Oh, boom, sick burn.
Oh,
Mordin,
man.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I think Luna's gonna give Mordin a look of like, she's helping us. Please don't be rude. Also, she's gonna take a chance to get closer to Mordin while he's distracted because her skin is fascinating.
Do you just take like a piece of paper and some charcoal and do like a texture
Rubbing.
I'm thinking about it, but I'm not doing it yet because he's still not. Maybe if he's sleeping.
So yeah, by this point, Sombra has a bunch of different fighting teams displayed on her holographic displays. She puts one hand over her eyes and uses another hand to point randomly at one of the groups, and then she looks to see what she pointed at and says, well, so long, Team Shadaloo. So you guys have a team name you want to go with?
Yes, Team Archer.
Ohana!
Yeah.
Team everyone around me sucks.
Mordin turns to Stitch and says, you say that word a lot. What does that mean?
Ohana means family. Family means no one gets left behind or forgotten.
Mordin looks to Sombra and nods.
All right, so by a vote of 2, you guys are now Team Ohana.
Luna teared up a little bit. She thought that was very nice.
I hate this.
Yeah, this is stupid.
You don't have to like everything, Dante. It's okay.
All right, so once you guys have been entered into the system, Sombra checks the schedule, and she says, all right, you guys have only about an hour until your qualifying match, so you better get moving.
Is it hard to win?
She takes a look at you and like blinks slowly a couple of times, and she says, you guys are fighters, right? I mean, I specifically requested people who could fight.
I mean, yeah, sure, totally.
Luna just shrugs.
Are guns allowed?
She says, oh yeah, all the matches have kinetic dampeners thrown over them, so you can use weapons and everything, and it won't be fatal.
Would you like me to show you my large sword?
I can see it pretty good from here, thanks.
Phrasing.
Oh, that one. Yeah, it's pretty big.
Are you planning on bringing Lace with you to the matches?
She's gonna come along at the very least. Now, she has to be signed up in advance, right?
Right, she has to be registered as a part of your group.
Yeah, she's coming with me. Fuck it.
Okay.
Also, when we go along, when we're walking along over there, the camera pans to show that Stitch is now wearing one of the curtains from the hotel as a little cape.
Nice. Very appropriate.
It's a lovely maroon paisley.
I love it.
Oh, I love maroon.
I'm gonna say, I really think Luna probably took one too, just because she thought it looked so great.
Yeah, we got team colors. Let's do this.
yeah, it didn't occur to her not to join in.
I mean, if we're gonna have a team killer, it might as well be the best killer. Right? I mean,
So we have 3 people wearing a maroon
Yeah.
paisley curtain around their neck.
Absolutely.
I'm wearing it more as like a toga.
Oh, nice. Okay. Mordin and Dante, are you guys getting in on the dress code?
I'm offended by this.
We brought extra for them, but they still keep refusing.
I mean, I have that spell that duplicates things,
There you
so I mean, I have some more.
That's true.
Dante, look at the maroon.
Dante, do you want one?
No.
Mordin's helmet that he wears when he has to go into like hostile environments in Mass Effect 2 is like a face concealing mask with like red glass in front of it. So I'm gonna say that I'm gonna be wearing that into the arena to have like a little bit of intimidation factor.
Nice.
Can Luna transfigure stuff just for her own? Like, can I just transfigure that pattern onto what they're already wearing?
I think that's entirely fair.
Yes. Yes.
So that pattern is now on Mordin's hat.
All right.
And I know
Hat?
it's a helmet, but it's
I'm
a
sorry.
It's a space hat.
It's a very fine space hat, Mordin. And then onto whatever it is that Dante's wearing or not wearing, and then it's gonna be.
You made his coat paisley. That's amazing.
I rip off my coat, I take Frostborn, and I start chopping my coat. I'm like, ah!
Luna can just like repair it.
Who did this? Who did this?
Oh, ghosts.
Damn you, ghosts! Ah! And now I'm naked again.
Yep. Strange how that keeps happening, isn't it?
What's Archer wearing? Oh, his pants are gonna be they're gonna be maroon paisley.
Hell yeah.
And Lace has a nice little Fred style maroon paisley neckerchief.
Oh, nice.
Just whatever you do, don't mess with the turtleneck. It must remain slightly darker black.
All right, so now that you are fully accoutramented, I don't think
That's not a word.
term.
No,
Well-
use it. It's beautiful.
Yep. Now that you are accoutramented, you take one quick subway trip and emerge back onto the sidewalk. Down the street from you is a building that appears to be some sort of event space, the type that would be used for medium-sized concerts or shows or conventions. A large crowd has formed out in front of the building as what may have once been an orderly line has quickly ballooned out of control as people's excitement ramps up. From within the building, you can hear the muffled sounds of an amplified announcer, as well as the sounds of a crowd cheering, booing, and otherwise reacting to the sound of a fight. What do you all do?
Luna's just gonna march straight to the front and be like, "We're here to fight. Could you please show us where we need to go?"
Luna, there's 2 obvious entrances. There's the one right in the front, which is the main entrance, which is currently surrounded by the crowd trying to get in. But you also notice that there's one on the side, guarded by a pair of well-dressed, burly men who look as though they haven't even heard of the concept of a sense of humor.
They sound delightful. Dante, would you like to speak to these people? Would you like to show them your sword and tell them about it?
They don't deserve it.
I think they might really enjoy it, though.
My soul is shattered.
I know. Archer, go show them your guns.
Okay. Hey guys. Hey, check these out, huh? Look at them. Look how big they are, guys.
They look and one is trying to look stern, but you can see that the other one sort of raises his eyebrows behind his sunglasses and like leans in before the other one like elbows him and he corrects his posture.
All right, this guy knows what I'm talking about right here.
The guy who has his act together consults this electronic list and says, name,
Sterling Archer.
your team name.
Oh, hi.
The Archers.
I hate everyone.
It's Ohana.
Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. It's Ohana, I guess. It was supposed to be the Archers.
The guards check their electronic list, and one of them looks up at you suspiciously and says, I'm not seeing a Team Ohana on here.
Well, you better check again, because, I mean, did you look under Archers?
You notice that when he's looking at you, the screen flickers slightly, and then he looks down to double check, and then he says, oh, here you are. Sorry about
yeah.
that. And then he gets out of the way and opens the door for all of you to go inside.
Luna skips in.
Dante sulks in.
As Mordin's walking, he's like, cutting a little close. Direct neural input would have been faster.
So you move through the narrow concrete hallway in the back of the stadium, and from in here, You can hear the bass sounds of the nearby crowd and the announcer much more loudly and insistently all around you. The other fighters populating this space are an eclectic and eye-turning bunch indeed. Though most of the fighters here are preoccupied with stretching, doing some light exercise, or watching the current qualifying match on one of the many TVs scattered around. You receive some uncertain and dubious looks from a number of muscled figures back here, a large percentage of which are wearing headbands for some reason. As you're moving through the crowd, a woman carrying a clipboard and wearing a headset and a frantic expression on her face comes pushing her way through the crowd, calling out, Team Ohana? Team Ohana? Anyone seen Team Ohana?
I'm not sure. Is that us? I thought we were... Oh, yeah. Yes. Hello. Hi. We are Team Archer Hana.
She turns and looks at Archer, equally relieved and frustrated, and she says, "Where have you been? You're due at the ring next, and the match is just about over. Go!"
All right. Come on, Team Archer. Let's go.
You all arrive at the curtain, which leads out of the backstage area and to the ring. Peering through the curtain, you can see that the whole interior of the arena has been set up like a pro wrestling match. So there's a large square ring in the center surrounded by tiers of cheering audience members. Right now, the ring is littered with the motionless bodies of several fighters, and as you watch, a towering, muscled figure with a bald head, naked from the waist up except for some gauntlets, black pauldrons, and a cowl, and with a large, grotesque, round red mass in his chest, lifts up another fighter wearing a white gi and headband and hurls him forcefully into the crowd. The crowd eats it up, with part of the audience cheering and part of them booing, as the voice of the announcer booms down. "This match has been decided. The winner, Team Soul Edge!" The fighters who remain standing in the ring raise their fists in victory, smug grins on their faces. Aside from the giant who just threw the last competitor out of the ring, you all see a pale, bearded man dressed like a pirate. There's a reptilian humanoid dotted with shocks of yellow feathers. A young, thin, blonde man dressed like a Renaissance-era nobleman.
There's one who better be here.
A young-looking woman wearing tattered green clothing with teal-colored hair. And a male figure dressed in what can only be described as bondage gear.
Yep, that was the one.
Yeah! Voldo! Wait, so it's Lizardman, Voldo, Astaroth, Raphael, and...
Tira,
yeah.
And, yes, was that Cervantes in there?
Oh, yeah, Cervantes,
Cool.
Sorry, yeah.
Good identification. So the
Video game Miles knows.
That's
It's
right.
a fighting game, I know it, sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate Dan's obsession with inserting video game NPCs into this league game has finally at least coincided with my own knowledge at one point.
I'm sorry, Miles. What was the entirety of the last world you guys were on?
Seriously.
I'm just kidding.
So the winning team leaves the ring and begins to walk back toward the curtain into the backstage area, where you all are currently standing. Are you planning on moving aside for Team Soul Edge?
I wasn't planning on it, no.
I'm gonna say Lace sniffs at Lizard Man.
Okay.
They probably puff and like head bob at each other.
I'm gonna say Archer notices Tira. Hey, so those circular things, how do those work? Are they like, are they a sex thing or?
She grins and she says, "Tell you what, you win this next match and I'll show you."
Sweet, guys, we totally need to win this match.
Luna's just gonna wave at everybody.
Mordin tries to tell whether or not Voldo can see through that bondage mask that seems to be completely concealing most of his face. He seems to be navigating his environment as though he could see, but...
Well, yeah, he's also navigating his environment as though he had no bones. So, there's a lot of
Right.
questions about this dude.
As Voldo passes by, Dante's gonna be like, "Hey, can you refer me to your leather worker, please?"
As that happens, Dante, you suddenly feel a bump as Astaroth walks into you, the giant with the large red mass in his chest, and he just looks down at you and says, "Move."
I'm a fucking demon, bro! I will fuck your shit up! Get out of my way!
He's beginning to reach out when Raphael walks up and just sort of puts a hand on his shoulder and says, "Perhaps now is not the time, Astaroth. Should they win, I'm sure they'll be seeing more of us." And he turns and leads Astaroth off.
Wait, as he's walking by, I'm gonna be like, "My sword has 75% more sharper edges than your stupid axe! Keep walking!"
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your next contestants to the ring for a qualifying match. First, hailing from parts unknown, we have Team Ohana!
Archer's gonna grapple gun up to the ceiling and swing out into the middle of the arena, like holding guns aloft, maybe shooting a little bit.
Oh yeah, crowd loves some of that.
Luna's gonna come out and she's going to sort of. The toga is only wrapped on her, so she's going to like grab it, throw it into the air, and then with her wand, she's going to shoot it so it just explodes into sparks. I mean, I still have a little neckerchief as well, because I can't desert the team colors, but gotta make a show.
Very impressive entrance from Luna.
Mordin starts walking out towards the ring. He pulls out his portal gun, and he shoots a portal up to the ceiling above the ring, and then he makes another one down on the ground. And so he falls through it and then falls down from the ceiling. Right before he hits the ground, he makes 2 portals on the ground right next to each other. He falls into one and then launches out of the other to that sort of counteract the fall, give him some time to slow his momentum. He then lands on the ground. The shock hits his energy shields a little bit, but he's able to take it. And he fires an incinerate up into the air, which explodes.
Which misses
Yes.
and then explodes.
And then Archer hits him on his backswing.
What's the ground made out of? Is it concrete? Dirt?
Yeah, it's concrete around the ring, and then, whatever a ring is made of.
Canvas,
Okay.
mainly.
All Dante is going to do, he's just going to fall flat on his face, on his belly, and just his face is in the ground.
Okay.
He just falls flat on his face. Nothing is said.
So you're just
he is
lying outside the
prone.
ring, this shirtless man.
Yeah, and he's just prone on the floor, face made an imprint in the concrete.
And you were in prime butthole stabbing positions.
Yeah.
I think Luna's gonna subtly levitate him so he's sort of more with the rest of the group, but try not to disturb him too much because he obviously needs this.
I like that Luna's basically
My
essentially
babysitter.
Dante's moral support.
He
Okay,
seems
does
like
Stitch.
he has so many emotional problems.
Does this ring have those rope?
Yeah.
It's like bouncy rope? Oh hell yeah. Okay, so Stitch in the dressed as with the Venom symbiote is gonna use that as Lace's reins, and he's gonna ride Lace into the ring. Lace is gonna jump in, bounce off of all 4 of the ropes, all elegantly, doing some sick flips in the air. Stitch is gonna jump up, do some more sick flips, land hard, going through the canvas of the ring, and then all of a sudden there's a rumbling, and Stitch has picked up the entire ring. He rotates it a little and then puts it gently back down.
That is an entrance. Yeah, the crowd is eating you guys up right now. They've not only ever seen you or heard of you, they've never seen or heard of anything like you guys before. And they are very enthusiastic to see what's going to happen. And their opponents for the evening. From Tokyo, we have Team Zoanthrope. Walking to the ring are your 5 opponents, all of whom look Asian. There's a young woman wearing a white and blue jacket and miniskirt. There's a young man wearing a sleeveless dark blue shirt, dark blue pants, and a flowing red scarf. There's a man wearing glasses and a green robe. There's a young woman wearing blue and white shorts and a blue and white jacket so large that the ends of the sleeves hang loosely off of her arms. And there's a young-looking man wearing black shorts and a white t-shirt over a black long-sleeved shirt with a flame design on the arms. Team Zoanthrope waves to the crowd before they climb up into the ring. And as they do so, there's a slight shimmering in the area around the ring, and the air itself feels momentarily thicker around you. And the announcer says, "Kinetic dampeners engaged. You are go for combat. Fight!" Extraordinary League is produced by Dan Mulkerin, with logo designed by Colin Mulkerin.
Special thanks to Kevin McLeod at Incompetech.com for our theme song, Motherload, and to TabletopAudio.com for our background music and ambient sound effects.
You can find us on Twitter at SmashFic Podcast and search for the Smash Fiction Podcast on Facebook, Tumblr, and YouTube.
Subscribe on iTunes or your podcatcher of choice, and if you leave us a good review, we shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
If you have any suggestions, feedback, or other contributions, send them to us at smashfictionpodcast@gmail.com and help us continue the fight.
Mordana, with a beauty that shines like a holographic projection. Mordana, 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 with a high-pitched voice that always gives him erections. Mordana, Mordana, Mordana. Mordana. He just met a girl named Mordana. Or at least he thinks that he did. But he's really just kidding himself. Mordana. Just talked to a girl named Mordana. Nico said that she's that same doctor. But he thinks that she's just trying to cock block her from me. Mordana.
Beautiful.
Anyway.
Outstanding.
Beautiful.
That was very, very good.
Encore, but not really.